tonight on CBC Vancouver News.
I stare at this tree all the time because it's right across from my window.
Massive cleanup. Wind and rain rip across the south coast, toppling trees and knocking out power, while floodwaters cause more damage.
We don't want to go through this mess again.
Plus,
it was like being in a tornado.
I am very sleep deprived.
not a sailor's delight. People living on boats in False Creek endure high winds and close calls.
Some of them have no maritime skills.
And
it was kind of a feeling of horror, honestly.
alarm over a new chemical found in BC's toxic drug supply. Officials say fentanyl is being mixed with an animal tranquilizer.
This is CBC Vancouver News.
Hello, I'm Dan Burritt. Thanks for joining us. First, it was heavy rain and flooding. Now, high wind has been wreaking havoc across the province. This is the third major storm to batter BC in the past week, and it's not over yet. Yasmin Ghanea has more on the damage and the cleanup.
British Columbians waking up to a shocking sight after a powerful overnight windstorm.
I stare at this tree all the time because it's right across from my window.
Wind gusts reaching 100 kilometers per hour swept through the province, strong enough to rip a shopping cart shelter from the ground and bend it around a light pole. About 120,000 properties lost power, including in the Lower Mainland, Interior, and on Vancouver Island, forcing school closures in multiple regions.
I'm a stay-at-home mom, so I just figured we would invite all of them out, so they're all out here playing.
The windstorm, the latest weather event to hit parts of the province already reeling from heavy rain and severe flooding that began a week ago.
The back nine's still underwater on the other end there. This is okay.
This golf course in the Fraser Valley, now a series of rivers.
So this is the restaurant.
Yeah, this was the restaurant.
Its owners bought it after the catastrophic floods in 2021, confident nothing like that would happen again.
I mean, it's countless hours. I've pretty much lived here for the last 2 years, fixing this place up, putting a lot of money into the renovations. It's kind of overwhelming.
As cleanup efforts begin, the focus now is on rebuilding with flood mitigation front and center.
I don't know if I can devote another couple years of my life rebuilding this place and then having to go through it again.
Environment Canada says while the worst of the rain has passed, more showers are in the forecast for Thursday. Yasmin Ghanea, CBC News, Abbotsford, British Columbia.
All this wind and rain have made for a harrowing night on the water, including people living on boats in False Creek and those with vessels moored in local marinas, I should say. Liam Britton spoke with some who weathered that storm.
On Red Sky this morning, sailors took warning.
It was loud and I am very sleep deprived.
The sailboat home to Quellright, their partner, and their 7 egg-laying quails went for an unwanted voyage last night. High winds pounded the vessel and the entire region, sending the Red Sky into the rocks.
That's most of the drama, though. There's not much risk of it being long-term damage, and it was just very dramatic, yeah.
And it wasn't the only ship pounded by the storm. At Heather Marina, a fleet about a half-dozen vessels strong, normally anchored offshore, careened into the berths.
It was like being in a tornado, is what it felt like.
Rusalka Pierce's home on the water got tangled up with another. Both were gusted into the docks.
Probably the last end of it there was the most scary. I think once more boats started flying in here, like I said, that the one that's behind me, it was wrapped around me. I had no choice. There was no stopping.
It tore my anchor off here.
Zeta Schneider says his boat was damaged when another's crashed into it. He says others were impacted as well, and the marina itself.
It is just anarchy out here.
He has long been calling for tighter regulation of boats in False Creek.
They sometimes don't even have owners aboard. They have no liability insurance. Sometimes their engines don't work, so when there's a big storm, they're helpless.
Pierce insists most living on the water are good citizens, even if some face challenges.
We're all concerned about the water being healthy because we live here, right? Like, we live here and we like the fish and we like, see life. I love them anyway.
Pierce needs to check for damage and get untangled from other ships. Likewise for the red sky tonight. Hopes to soon again be a sailor's delight. Liam Britton, CBC News, Vancouver.
Crews are busy repairing Highway 3, meanwhile, at numerous locations between Hope and Manning Park. Take a look. The province says the highway remains closed indefinitely. Damage is reported at 22 separate locations along that stretch. 11 of those have extensive damage. That includes 5 partial road washouts requiring excavation and full culvert replacements. The province says 40 pieces of equipment, almost 60 crew, and 15 technical experts are working around the clock to try to reopen that highway as quickly and as safely as possible. Whistler Blackcomb, meanwhile, saw a fresh layer of snow overnight. Take another look. The mountain was bustling with skiers and snowboarders earlier in the day as they took advantage of the fresh powder. More snow is forecast there through Thursday. Metro Vancouver's mountains, meanwhile, remain closed after getting rained out, but there is plenty of snow in the forecast in the coming days. The hardest working man in show business, Darius Badavi, science and climate expert, with the first look at the weather. Great news for the local mountains, but then you see the damage that's happened to other people living on the water and elsewhere. It's a lot to take in.
It is. So let's talk about flood advisories, and then we'll talk about the mountains. High stream flood advisories remain in place for the Central Coast and Vancouver Island, as well as for the Sumas River. However, we have still seen that flood warning in place. The one location still in place, Chilliwack River. So keep an eye on that. That's the one place where those river levels haven't really receded like the other rivers have been. So keeping an eye. Sumas River still under high stream flow advisory, though, because of the potential for those that flow rate to pick up very quickly. Now, this is footage that our reporter Benit Brach took in Abbotsford earlier today. That is one of those sort of roofs of those shopping cart receptacles just being blown off by those very strong winds. 100 kilometers per hour in the valley, almost 120 here on the coast. Very strong winds there. I'm sorry, 120 on parts of Vancouver Island, not here in the lower mainland. Now, looking to the future, we have a rainfall warning in place, 50 to 70 millimeters for northern sections of Metro Vancouver and Howe Sound. The Coquihalla has been getting a lot of snow today. That snowfall warning should be coming down. And we have a lot of that snow coming through. Huge dumps for the local mountains, Dan, all but guaranteed tonight and tomorrow.
Okay, Darius, thanks very much. Premier David Eby says the province and the federal government need to work together to address BC's transportation issues to ensure there's no long-term impact to cross-country trade.
And we saw in the Fraser Valley around Highway 1 and the threat, if we don't address that for the long term, that highway could face impacts that would last for months, disrupting trade across the country. The Massey Tunnel and the need for replacement there to ensure that goods are moving to our ports.
Eby says he spoke with Canada's Major Projects Office to outline work that needs to be done that creates trade-enabling infrastructure on those major routes, including the Ironworkers Memorial Bridge. Rental prices are dropping. That is in the latest data from Statistics Canada. And newly released information from the Canadian Mortgage and Housing Corporation shows rental inventory here in Metro Vancouver is at a 30-year high at 3.7%. The CBC's Leanne Young breaks down what's happening in the market and what the ongoing challenges for renters are.
There's been a bit of an interesting change happening in the Metro Vancouver real estate market, a noticeable shift, you would say. And to help us get a better understanding of what is just going down around here, I've got with me a guy that's been tracking all of this for years. This is Josh Gordon. He is a senior analyst with Statistics Canada. I last talked to him about 2.5 years ago. At that time, I dragged you out from behind the desk. This time, he was very willing to chat with us. It's very good. So, Josh, tell us, you've been watching the numbers around here, and today you guys dropped a bunch of data specifically around renters. What's happening there?
So, what the data that we released today is showing is that over the last 2 years or so, in real terms, in inflation-adjusted terms, asking rents have fallen about 10 to 15% for 1 and 2 bedroom units.
So what are we still talking about now for a 2-bedroom? What are the prices still hitting around?
I think for a 2-bedroom, it's around $3,200.
Right, and there's also a drop right across the board. 3 bedrooms, 2 bedrooms, single room, all of those seeing drops across the board.
Yeah, there's been notable drops in each of those categories.
What do you say is happening in the market that is prompted this?
So we haven't done a careful causal analysis, so I wouldn't kind of say definitively one thing or another, but You know, this is in the context of slowing population growth. There has been substantial amounts of new supply in recent years. The rate of completions from the CMHC data is quite strong. And the unemployment rate has increased modestly, which means that, you know, fewer people have jobs and incomes, and so they're, you know, potentially more likely to you know, move back in with their parents or move in with roommates or something like that, which means that there's a bit less demand for rental space.
Because when we last chatted, we were in the middle of the peak of all of this, hey? Yeah. That was March of 2023.
That's right. Yeah. Rents peaked in Vancouver right around then, you know, second or third quarter of 2023. And have declined since.
And so if you moved in 2023 into a new place, maybe this could be a time that you could renegotiate your rent, possibly. Okay, all right, thank you so much, Josh Gordon. Yes. Always great to talk to you. So Josh gave us a sense of what this data means, but I want to go a bit deeper. I'm about to go and meet up with Sandy James. She's a former Vancouver city planner, still an insider in the city. She really understands real estate around here, and she's actually one of 24 experts who signed a letter urging all three levels of government to focus on affordability. Let's go talk to her. So Sandy, do you think this is the market correction that so many people have been waiting for, calling for, hoping for?
Do you really think rents are dropping?
Well, I mean, the data seems to suggest that.
There's a bit of a reduction in Toronto and a bit of a reduction in Vancouver. But that median price that they are now saying is coming in still would require you to have a $100,000 salary if you were paying a third of your income to rent in Toronto. And in Vancouver, you would have to have $115,000 to $120,000 coming in salary if you're going to get an average apartment in Vancouver.
When you see this drop, your take on it is that we're not even close to where we need to be.
No, I don't think it's dramatic enough yet. Historically, when I was renting downtown, the rents were high, but everybody had the idea that salaries were still going to increase. And we're in an economy that's not doing that.
What about those factors like the speculation and vacancy tax, the ban on foreign investment? What about those?
You know, I think it looks really nice, and I'm sure the politicians are going to tell you that the empty homes tax and also banning short-term rentals, I think that may have brought up a lot of housing to come. But, you know, it's really nice to have that kind of legal policy. But the real important thing is for federal, municipal, and provincial governments to start thinking about affordable housing. And that means supporting nonprofit, to take a look at the cooperative housing model, which sounds scary, but it's really where everybody buys a share, moves into a building, they manage the building, and your rent is always part of your income, so that you are able to have discretionary income to do other things with your family or your kids or yourself. Some bureaucratic decisions were made by different governments to try to keep the development fulcrum going. I think specifically in Vancouver, development and tourism are two of the things that has really driven our market. But we don't have the foreign buyers now, and we don't have the foreign investors as much. And we need to kind of look back at the local market and, again, talk about affordable housing for someone that's not making $75,000, to make sure we have a city that includes people that are working, that are assistants, and also are just form part of the vibrant fabric of the city. They should be allowed to live here.
Leanne Young reporting. Meanwhile, a recent CMHC report said another factor behind rising rental stock was 3 consecutive quarters of non-permanent residents leaving, many of them renters. A recent spike in 911 calls are being linked to a dangerous new ingredient. After the break, we look at a veterinary drug flooding the streets. Stay with us.
I'm Stephen Quinn, and I love living here in Vancouver, BC. It's a city with world-renowned beauty, but it's not all sunshine and rainbows. In our new daily podcast, This is Vancouver, we're exploring the diverse range of issues and stories in the city, the good, the bad, and everything in between, as told by the people who live it every day. Don't miss This is Vancouver, available wherever you get your podcasts, and I'll talk to you soon.
A recent spike in 911 calls and overdoses is being linked by officials to the potent opioid fentanyl being mixed with an animal tranquilizer known as medetomidine. And as John Hernandez shows us, experts are worried about this dangerous new ingredient flooding the streets.
It was kind of a feeling of horror, honestly.
Amy Evans recalls when she found out about a new chemical in the toxic drug supply, one that in BC has led to a recent wave of overdoses and 911 calls.
We've seen people do tiny amounts of a drug that has medetomidine in it, and they're losing consciousness almost immediately.
Medetomidine is an animal tranquilizer. It's not approved for human use, and somewhere along the supply chain, it's being integrated into illicit drugs.
People are having overdoses, and of course we're responding as we normally would with naloxone, and that cancels out the fentanyl that's in the drugs that they've taken, but there's nothing we can do for the medetomidine.
The overdose prevention site she runs is finding the tranquilizer in just about every drug being tested.
Its implications, its effects on human beings are really not fully understood.
This doctor says the overdoses can be longer and deeper, and the withdrawals are just as dangerous.
It's accompanied by really high heart rates, high blood pressure, and potentially puts people at risk of even more concerning consequences like seizures or even theoretically death.
Health authorities across the country have issued warnings about the sedative. Health Canada says it's becoming increasingly prevalent in drugs seized by police. Some experts say it's the byproduct of an illicit market that's constantly changing and profit-driven.
What we're seeing are these completely unregulated markets that are controlled by drug traffickers, and they are just changing the recipe at will.
I do think that we will see more and more deaths as time goes on because of medetomidine.
A toxic drug crisis that's claimed more than 50,000 Canadian lives since 2016, with a new ingredient now flooding the streets. John Hernandez, CBC News, Vancouver.
95% of Canadian adults have a smartphone. That's in a new report. That stat, coupled with the rise of social media and some people spending hours a day on their devices, has given way to problematic smartphone use. Troy Charles takes a look at some new ideas emerging here in BC on how to put your phone down.
Picking up your smartphone is the easy part. Putting it down can be hard.
I shut it off and make sure it's off and put it to the side when I'm actually trying to do work.
I really do avoid a lot of my own personal social media just because it feels like you're just living in that world.
While smartphone addiction isn't an official disorder, some healthcare professionals are treating it as such.
It's pretty prevalent, I would say.
In Alberta, therapist Gary Sue says electronic use is a key issue for his teenage clients. He says the consistent dopamine hits from social media apps can exacerbate what is known as brain rot.
Imagine that feelings is constant, 3-4 hour nonstop, and that essentially kind of fatigue or kind of overload our brain system.
Many social media apps are designed to keep and hold your attention, but there are tools to combat that.
You can set a certain amount of time you want to spend per app, and so I'll put 30 minutes on social media for the day, and then it will just shut off when I've reached that limit.
You could also switch your phone over to the grayscale setting. Some studies have shown the lack of color can make you less invested in what your phone has to offer.
Just becoming more aware of the role that our phone plays in our lives is a really important first step.
UBCO Associate Psychology Professor Susan Holtzman published a recent study. It looked at whether mindfulness can help people disconnect from their smartphones. The results found that people practicing mindfulness are less likely to have a problematic relationship with their phones.
It can help us be more aware of the present moment in terms of what we're doing and how we're feeling, and it can likely interrupt that habit that many of us have to just reach for our phone without even thinking about why we're doing it.
So perhaps next time, the phone can wait. Troy Charles, CBC News, Vancouver.
Waves crashing ashore in White Rock earlier in the day. The pier facing more stormy weather, and it has seen its share. Darius has your BC-wide weather forecast next. Internal documents obtained by CBC News detail ambitious plans from the Department of National Defense to build an army of 300,000 citizen soldiers. Our Murray Brewster shows us it won't be quick nor easy.
For years, the ranks of the Canadian military have been pretty thin. Now, an ambitious proposal sparked by Canada's new NATO commitment to essentially create a citizens' army, a part-time reserve of up to 300,000.
They are currently doing an analysis of what is in the realm of possible.
But defense planners wonder how to even get so many uniforms and weapons when existing supply chains, inventories, and personnel systems are already at capacity. And even if the industry could produce those needs, internal documents obtained by CBC News show the military doesn't have the storage space. It is, according to the country's top military commander, a work in progress.
We need to figure out how we are going to do this. And the first step is to figure out what are the roles and missions of this strategic reserve.
And then there's the bigger question, equipment. How much, what kind, and where do you get it?
This country on a good day can mobilize 3 frigates and 8 CF-18s. If we actually wanted to deploy this capability, how would we even move it to where we wanted it to be?
The internal documents say the buildup would have to go slowly, but this expert emphasizes explaining it to the public.
Getting those numbers is going to require a huge communications initiative and convincing Canadians that this is absolutely required.
Others are just as skeptical. This reserve force is meant to be called up in emergencies, everything from localized disasters all the way up to war.
How then this large group of people with 1 week of training and no uniforms or anything else is going to address that requirement it's difficult to see.
A brigadier general has been appointed to organize mobilization, a sign perhaps of how serious Canada is about rebranding itself as committed to defense. The military hopes to put a fully thought out plan before the Prime Minister in the spring.
Murray Brewster reporting from Ottawa. Canada's housing crisis can be felt in communities across this country, and that does include military bases. The Department of National Defense, though, has now announced new homes for its members in the Comox Valley. Our reporter Maurice Zeidler has more.
I'm in downtown Courtenay, where the Department of National Defense says it has just purchased this new 52-unit building to house its members at CFP Comox. The military says the move is part of a national effort to provide more desperately needed housing for its members.
The Department of National Defense and the Canadian Forces Housing Agency have made it their mission to deliver safe and suitable housing and to acquire housing faster than at any period in our recent history.
This $19.1 million building includes 52 units for CFB Comox members, and it's just one part of a much larger housing strategy across the country. McKnight says the military is investing $1.4 billion for new homes over the next 20 years.
We're undertaking parallel projects at bases across the country, from Esquimalt to Halifax, including Edmonton, Borden, Trenton, Kingston, Petawawa, Valcartier, and Gagetown. More than 800 new units in all, some under construction, and more to be built in the months to come.
Commander Chris Shupka runs 19 Wing. He says it's hard for some of his members to find an affordable place to live.
We've got people on wait lists up on the wing to be able to get into our houses, to be able to get into our barracks, and this is really going to relieve a lot of the pressure.
CFB Comox is expected to grow by another 600 members over the next 10 years. Shopka says the studio and one-bedroom apartments in this building will be perfect for new members.
The Canadian Forces is going through just a massive recruiting drive right now. We're growing, and so you can anticipate that our demographic is going to, the age of our demographic is going to go down over a period of the next few years. And so housing like this is perfect, right?
More members, and hopefully less headache to find homes for them at one of Canada's many growing military bases. Maurice Seidler, CBC News, Courtenay.
New safety guidelines for Quebec schoolyards are sparking some winter controversy. The recommendations offer complex rules for how kids can play on snow piles. As Alexander Silberman shows us, some say the restrictions go too far.
A winter tradition in many Canadian schoolyards, jumping, sliding, and rolling down big mounds of snow. But now some Quebec schools are being encouraged to follow a long list of safety rules, including possibly wearing helmets.
The people who are in fear are the adults. That's the problem.
I think that's kind of ridiculous. I think kids are kids. Playing in the snow is normal.
The guidelines, issued to dozens of school districts, come from a group insurance association aiming to avoid complaints from parents and potential lawsuits.
School staff will have to get out the measuring tape, keeping track in a daily log. Snow piles will have to be between 1.8 and 3 meters high, with a grade of about 25%.
If the rules can't be followed, kids should wear helmets. This school district spokesperson says her schools plan to follow the guidelines. If hills don't comply, they will be closed or made smaller so students can still have fun.
Je trouve ça un petit peu exagéré.
But Quebec's premier weighing in, arguing the idea of kids wearing helmets in the schoolyard is excessive.
I'm a bit concerned in terms of trying to be overly prescriptive around how we provide those kinds of environments.
The Canadian Pediatric Society says outdoor risky play is an essential part of childhood development. And its 2024 report found taking chances and even getting hurt to be key to kids' mental, physical, and social well-being.
How fast do I want to take my speed down that slope? Those kinds of things that we want to really allow kids to make decisions for themselves.
There are no consequences if schools don't implement the rules, many trying to strike a balance, keeping kids safe while letting a little bit of a tumble still be part of the fun. Alexander Silberman, CBC News, Montreal.
This time of year, many Canadians normally take or at least plan a trip south. And it's not just for the sun. U.S. ski resorts are usually a popular destination for many Canadians. Not this year, though. As Kyle Bax reports, they too are feeling the pain of the dramatic drop in visitors from this side of the border.
On the eve of the busy holiday season, U.S. ski resorts are dreading a drop in Canadian tourists this winter.
We are looking at the economic trends. We're looking at the environment that we're in and encouraging folks to continue visiting.
A hit to many mountain towns who rely on visitors traveling south across the border.
Just checked our occupancy rates and we're 25% under 2024 rates, so it's considerable.
In this Montana town, credit card spending by Canadians has plunged 39% so far this year compared to last year.
It's disappointing and sad. I mean, we totally understand that for many people, they're choosing not to visit the United States right now.
The boycott in response to U.S. President Donald Trump's sweeping tariffs on Canadian goods and his suggestions that Canada should become the U.S.'s 51st state. Businesses are trying to coax Canadians down south, offering discounts and deals. At this Montana brewery, there's a special only for Canadians, 2 beers for the price of 1.
Certainly we're seeing less Canadian tourism, and that's very noticeable.
Many Canadians avoid U.S. travel for reasons beyond politics, including the low value of the loonie and the annoyance at the border with changing requirements to enter the U.S., including registering and fingerprinting for longer stays.
Those are all barriers to travel. When presented between two destinations and one appears more hassle-free, maybe more affordable, the traveler may choose in that direction.
There aren't many Canadians here, but polling shows that among Canadians who frequently travel, their resolve is starting to slip with every passing month.
It's softening, but we're not out of the woods yet. So I don't want to sound too optimistic because it wouldn't take much to set it back yet again.
Skiers and snowboarders may still travel south if the conditions are right, including plenty of powder.
It's always about the snow. And someone has great snow conditions, people are going to go to that ski area.
U.S. ski resorts will know soon whether their northern neighbors are ready to visit, with the make-or-break holiday season fast approaching. Kyle Bax, CBC News, Whitefish, Montana.
Police in Australia have now charged the surviving suspect in Sunday's deadly mass shooting at Bondi Beach. The 24-year-old has been charged with 59 offenses, including murder and committing a terrorist offense. It's alleged the father-son perpetrators opened fire at the Hanukkah celebration, killing 15 people. More now from the CBC's Georgie Smythe.
Police had been waiting for Naveed Akram to wake up from a coma to be able to have an interview with them before they laid these significant charges. They include 15 counts of murder, 40 counts of wounding with intent to murder, committing a terrorist act, and placing an explosive near a building. We also got an update from the state government here about their plans to push through emergency laws to further restrict gun ownership in the state of New South Wales.
To cap the number of firearms, to reclassify straight pull-up and pump-action shotguns, to look at reducing magazine capacity for shotguns, for prohibiting belt-fed magazines in those shotguns.
The federal government is expected to follow suit soon. There's also some more stories emerging about the heroism that was seen during the terrifying moments of Sunday night. Look at this footage of victim Reuven Morrison throwing bricks at an attacker before he was shot and killed. His daughter told media that he went down fighting to protect the people that he loved. Look at this dash cam video as well of Boris and Sophia Gurman, who disarmed a gunman before they too were killed. There's also some remarkable stories by lifeguards and what they did to respond to this emergency situation at the park here. They were among the first responders on scene.
Once I realised the enormity of the event and there were still active shooters, they grabbed every rescue board they had in the surf club, and the rescue boards are normally used to rescuing people out in the surf. That's what you see, those yellow boards, and they paddle out there. They grab those to use as makeshift stretchers.
And remembering some of these brave acts is what's keeping the community here going, remembering people who gave their lives in some cases to protect each other. Georgie Smythe, CBC News, Sydney.
Donald Trump says he is ordering a blockade of all sanctioned oil tankers entering and leaving Venezuela. It's the latest move by the U.S. to intensify pressure on that country's leader, Nicolas Maduro, something the Venezuelan government is calling a grotesque threat. Willie Lowry has the details from Washington.
President Donald Trump using the might of the U.S. military to attempt to essentially cut Venezuela off from the rest of the world. In a lengthy post on social media, Trump said the country was, quote, completely surrounded by what he called the largest armada in the history of South America. He had ordered a, quote, total and complete blockade of all sanctioned oil tankers going into and out of Venezuela. He also accused the government of being a designated foreign terrorist organization and demanded that it return oil, land, and other assets that he alleges were stolen from the U.S. Now, this appears to be a reference to when Caracas nationalized its oil industry back in the mid-1970s. This blockade comes a week after the U.S. seized an oil tanker in the Caribbean that was carrying Venezuelan oil to Cuba. Trump has openly mused about regime change in an explosive story in Vanity Fair. Trump's chief of staff, Susie Wiles, was quoted as saying that Trump wants to, quote, keep on blowing boats up until Maduro cries uncle. It's important to note here that Wiles has said much of what she was quoted as saying in that article was taken out of context. But there is bipartisan dislike of Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro here in the U.S., and Washington views him as illegitimate. But the appetite for his ouster appears to fall along party lines.
If this is about regime change, it seems to me that the administration should say that's what it is and should come to Congress to ask for that authorization, which has not taken place.
Senate Republican Lindsey Graham, for his part, said all of these actions need to be leading to a desired outcome.
If after all this, Maduro is still in power, that's the worst possible signal you could send to Russia, China, Iran.
Maduro has made it clear that he does not want a war with the U.S., but he has shown little interest in stepping down. Willie Lowry, CBC News, Washington.
Their impact was different, but the atmospheric rivers of 2021 and this year share a lot in common. Coming up, we're going to speak with a scientist on how storms are changing and how we can better prepare. Stick around. The atmospheric rivers that brought floodwaters to the Sumas Prairie in 2021 and this year share some things in common. They brought a tremendous amount of moisture to the mountains, and they were warm. To understand what this means, we're joined by Elise Lagarth. She is a PhD candidate at UBC, where she is studying the impact of these storms. Elise, first of all, explain what happened with these storms and what did we see?
So we really saw the impacts of what happens when we get consecutive storms, one after another, that are generally warmer than what's normal. So that caused a high increase in water levels in our rivers and led to some of the flooding that the Sumas area experienced.
Was there anything that stood out to you particularly as alarming when it came to these series of storms?
Yeah, definitely. Like, I mean, it's uncommon. Atmospheric rivers are generally warmer anyway. Like, they're generally a warm type of storm because they bring moisture in from the tropics. but these were warmer than typical for atmospheric rivers. So that caused a lot of snow melt, which added to the water transported into the streams, and it also meant that more of the precipitation fell as rain rather than snowfall.
And are these storms, as they become warmer and bring more moisture, what else is fueling them, if anything, beyond the warming planet and climate change?
Well, that's a great impact. One of the key things. Outside of that, it is a normal weather system. So we actually rely on atmospheric rivers a lot in order to maintain our water supply. Without them, we'd be in a constant state of drought. They're responsible for about 90% of the water vapor movement around the planet. It's only that when we get these really extreme atmospheric rivers of either a long duration or a high intensity that we see the impacts such as flooding.
And based on research and what we're seeing with 2021 and how disastrous it was, and now with this year, do you expect to see that we'll see these storms increasing in moisture and intensity and perhaps in damage?
Yeah, definitely. A lot of the research in terms of climate change and atmospheric rivers is showing that they're likely to increase in intensity. So they're going to be stronger. They're going to bring more rainfall. And also in terms of frequency. So we're going to see more of them.
Finally, we appreciate your time. What do you think we need to do to prepare ourselves for these more severe storms? What more is there that we can do?
Well, in terms of personally, like reducing your carbon footprint is a great one. But from the province level, there needs to be a lot of planning and redesigning of infrastructure so our bridges, our dams can accommodate greater flood levels.
And certainly there are crews busy working on to repair all sorts of damage across the province, from highways down to places that have flooded as well. Elise Lagarth, UBC PhD candidate studying atmospheric science. We appreciate your time and your expertise. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
The Weather Update is brought to you by BC Cancer Foundation. Give today to bring more progress and possibilities to patients and their families. Your donation changes everything.
Darius Madavi, our science and climate specialist, here with the provincial weather forecast as we hear from Elise Lagarth with more of that warmer moisture coming in. That's having an impact on avalanche dangers.
That's right. We've seen that avalanche danger continue to climb in many areas because of all that warmth, because of that rain falling on top of snow. And this is going to continue to be a problem in the years ahead if we continue to see these really warm events coming in. This is going to be a problem for, skiers, anybody who needs to head up into the mountains. Really, it could be a pretty big problem. Now, as snow continues to come down and temperatures fall, we should start to see some improvement, but it may take a little while. I want to turn for a moment to talk about Alberta for a second and the rest of the prairies over into northern Ontario, because they've been seeing some heavy snowfall move through Calgary earlier today. You may have heard about the paused flights. Not great news for anybody who's trying to travel out there. Blizzard-like conditions in some areas, including ones that brought a 100-car pileup to Airdrie, which is an area near Calgary. Massive storm that is moving through. It's called an Alberta Clipper. It's a really fast-moving, low-pressure system. They can travel very quickly across the prairies and over into Ontario. As they move through, they drop a lot of snow. They bring really strong winds, and in this case, also some ice pellets, as you can see there. This is radar imagery, and you can see just how far that stretches, thousands of kilometers across the country. And if we look here, that's where that snow is continuing to move across and over into Ontario. As it does so, bringing some pretty nasty weather conditions. There's a number of yellow warnings in place. So these are the lowest level, moderate localized or short-term impacts there. All kinds of weather warnings. And then also some orange ones, especially throughout Saskatchewan and Manitoba, including Winnipeg, and then over into parts of northern Ontario. So that system will continue to move through, and honestly, by the time we get into tomorrow morning, it'll have mostly passed for the prairies. It'll be pretty much over it'll be ending for northern Ontario because of how quickly it moves through. But still, watching out for those impacts. Let's turn our attention over here to BC, where we also have some weather, extreme weather possible in some areas. I should say possible. Snowfall warning in place for Pine Pass for tomorrow. We have a rainfall warning here in northern Metro Vancouver. That snowfall warning for the Coquihalla should come down within the next few hours. Then, as we watch all that moisture start to stream in, really watching out for any possible flooding impacts. It seems unlikely at this point for most areas, but keeping a close eye on the Chilliwack River, which still has that flood warning in place, and for those rivers up on the North Shore that did see very high river levels and flow rates earlier this week. So just in case anything like that happens again, but fortunately this time around, a lot more of that precipitation falling as snow, which should be good news. That will continue to be the case as temperatures fall over the next few days. You can see all that Arctic air spreading south, especially for places like Prince George, which will be very chilly by Sunday. In terms of the snowfall accumulation, lots coming down for the mountains. A bit of good news there. Local mountains included. Those are very high snowfall rates. A fair amount of rain as well, but nothing too crazy, fortunately. But still watching out because it may come as very heavy rain at times. A fair amount of rain or snow coming tomorrow, Dan, throughout the province. And here's our 5-day forecast, which does have the possibility of snow over higher terrain for quite a while.
All right, we are on notice. Thank you, Darius.
Thank you.
Coming up, a Canadian polar bear is now a mother of 2 after adopting a cub in the wild. We'll hear how researchers discovered this new family next.
Hi, I'm Amy Bell, and this is your CBC Inbox. CBC is a returning partner of the Push International Performing Arts Festival, January 22nd to February 8th. The festival features presentations of groundbreaking contemporary works of theater, dance, music, and multimedia. And ring in the new year with CBC. Watch a special live broadcast on New Year's Eve on CBC Gem, CBC TV, and the CBC News BC streaming channel. Coverage begins at 5 p.m.
A female polar bear in Churchill, Manitoba has adopted a cub that is not hers. The mother already had a baby of her own.
The step siblings are now around 10 and 11 months old. Evan Richardson is a federal scientist studying this new bear family.
In March of this year, we caught a female. She had one cub, and we left, and she went back out on the sea ice. And then we came back in the fall to check up on various bears again. And when we ran into this female a second time, she had a second cub. And when we catch the bears, we put little tags in their ears so we can identify them over the long term and track individuals through their life. And when we landed the helicopter and approached this family group, one of the cubs had tags and one of them didn't. So we started scratching our heads because that was obviously a cue that this bear was new to this family group. Cub adoption is fairly rare in polar bears. It's been documented in other places like Norway and the Canadian high Arctic, and in particular in the Western Hudson Bay polar bear population that occupies the area around Churchill. This is the 13th case of cub adoption we've documented over a 45-year study. We don't know anything about the adopted cub's mother yet, but we are running genetic samples. So just kind of like CSI on TV, we can match individual genotypes and look at paternity and maternity. And so we can take this cub's genotype and then we'll balance it against the pedigree we have that has over 4,600 individual bears that we've sampled over 45 years. So Mom was still alive, known to be alive, and somehow the family groups get separated, and then another mother takes these lone cubs on and care for them in the long term. Polar bear mothers are pretty amazing. They're pretty fierce. I mean, they'll defend their cubs at all costs. So it really looks like, female mammals and particularly female polar bears are just maternally primed to take care of their young. If there's a lone cub that's bawling on the tundra, they just can't help themselves, and they take them on. And we do know from our long-term research that many of these cubs do survive. So it's not just kind of a chance encounter and the cub just kind of follows her around for a month or two. It really looks like they do take care of them and help increase their chances of survival.
The snow on the cub's nose, it has polar bears, it has snow, it has family.
Couldn't be more Canadian.
Yeah, such a festive story. Thanks for being with us tonight on CBC Vancouver News at 6. You can watch this newscast on CBC Gem, YouTube, and our website, cbc.ca/BC.
And we will have your next local news at 11 o'clock, right after the National. Good night.